The Norse god Thor is mainly associated with Scandinavia and Iceland, the homelands of the Vikings, who pillaged coastal regions of Europe between the 8th and 11th centuries. He is associated with thunder and oak trees, and was depicted in Norse mythology as a strong, red-bearded man who rode a chariot drawn by goats and possessed a special hammer called Mjolnir, which he used to kill the enemies of the gods, such as the Jotuns, also known as Thursar. However, Thor has left an important legacy in the British Isles too. There's only one place to keep up to date with all of my activities. Not just my latest YouTube videos, which you might not get notified of here on YouTube, but everything I do is all recorded and listed on my Telegram channel. So please follow my Telegram all feed, and you can get updates on archaeology, DNA news, speaking events that I'm attending, discounts on my merchandise, and all kinds of other information, all in one place. His worship in these Isles goes back at least as far as 410, when the Anglo-Saxons invaded. They called him Thunor and named the 4th day of the week after him, Thursday. They also named many places after him, such as Thursley in Sussex, which was once a place of religious significance for his cult. The Anglo-Saxons converted to Christianity and forgot all about Thunor, but by the mid-9th century, the Viking pagans who had been raiding the nations of Britain for decades started to settle permanently and brought the cult of Thor back to Britain. As a result, Thor features in the folklore and mythology of Scotland and England. Take Thor's Cave in the Peak District. Although the original meaning of the name is disputed, among locals it is widely accepted to refer to the god Thor or Thunor. Excavations have revealed burials inside the cave dating all the way back to the Paleolithic, as well as artifacts proving it was in use during the Celtic Iron Age and the Anglo-Saxon era.
Thor's Cave was the site of a Bronze Age burial.
Some of the oldest artifacts within include Stone Age polished stone axes, and it is known that these were associated with the thunder god by various pagans in northern Europe, likely the origin of Thor's hammer. So perhaps these axes were noticed by Vikings, who dubbed it Thor's Cave in his honor. This argument is supported by the fact that elsewhere in the Peak District National Park, there is an Odin cave and an Odin mine, each named after Thor's father, the god Odin. In 1844, Robert Garner wrote that Thor's Cave was more usually called Thur's House, Thur's Hole, or Hobhurst Cave. Old English Thunor is abbreviated as Thur, indicating that it was named by Anglo-Saxon pagans rather than Vikings, who would have called it Thor's Cave, as it is now called, while the name Hobhurst Cave seems to invoke an old hob, which is a regional dialect term for a kind of land spirit or goblin, which derives from Anglo-Saxon and Norse pagan beliefs. Likewise, the name Thur's Hole may refer not to Thor, but to his worst enemies, the giants, known as Thursar in Old Norse or Thursus in Old English. Both the Thurs and the Hob were similarly feared supernatural entities in English folklore. It is once again, as in times of old, seen as a holy place by pagans. In the 1920s, a group of druids reinstated the Gorsedd ceremony at Thor's Cave, and today those who worship Thor regard it as holy to him. Do you think the cave was named after Thor, or his enemies, the Thursar, or both? Let me know in the comments. Just up the A3 from Thursley is a massive naturally formed crater shape known as the Devil's Punch Bowl. So named due to a local myth that it was created by the devil himself. However, another version of the folktale holds that the devil who lived nearby the Devil's Jumps in Churt had tormented the god Thor, who resided at his cult site in Thursley, with the result that the god grew angry and hurled thunderbolts at the devil, and even scooped up a great handful of earth and threw it at him, leaving the punch bowl depression that we see today.
Well, this is the place where the great god Thor scooped up a handful of dirt and lobbed it at the devil. Pretty impressive sight. But isn't it a bit strange that the devil, a figure from Christian mythology, should cohabit a local myth with a pagan god? Surely, originally, the devil's role was played by some kind of figure from pagan mythology. I suspect it could have been a Thurs or Jotun or giant, Ayrton in Old English, because all over the British Isles there are myths involving giants, whether Celtic or Germanic in origin, and they are very often associated with features in the landscape. So I think it's quite possible that this area once was associated with a scary Ent or Thurs of some kind, who was defeated in some kind of battle with the enemy of all Thursar, Thor. And that uniquely, that when this myth was Christianized, as many pagan myths were Christianized, somehow Thor, the god, remained the goodie in the story, and even fights against the enemy of Christ, the devil. So that seems to me quite unique. I'm not aware of many folkloric myths where the gods from pagan times retain their roles as the good guys. Usually they're demonized, but in this case, that is not what happened. And Thor holds a special place in the local history and folklore as a result.
Do take a look at some of my other videos on ancient Indo-European religions, genetics and folk customs if you want to learn more. And don't forget to hit subscribe and the notifications bell. You can also access exclusive private videos which I make just for patrons if you sign up for either Patreon or Subscribestar for as little as the price of a pint per month. The links for these are in the description. If you support me, you will be ensuring this channel continues to survive and celebrate ancient European history for years to come. So thank you so much.